But instead of waiting for the father to die, the youngest son requested, Father, give me my inheritance. He wanted church in advance. Well, the son made a decision to leave and take his part of his inheritance. Church, the father had every right to deny the son, but he didn't, church. He let him make his own decision. Church, see, sometimes we have to let our kids go. Church, the father, that means his son wanted his physical state. But what he was saying, church, if I had denied my son, he wouldn't be happy. He wouldn't be pleased staying home. So I let him make his decision. Church, sometimes we have to let go and let God. Church, the father allowed his son to make his own decision. See, we can't make our kids serve God, and we can't make them serve the devil. Church, that day decision. All we can do is teach and preach to them. But you can't make them decide who they want to serve, church. You have to let God have his way. See, church, the father, he did not agree or approve of his son's action. Church, but the father granted his request. Whatever the son got from his father's church, he wasted. He wasted. Church, it continued. It said, and not many days after, the youngest son gathered all together. He journeyed to a far country, Brother Story. There he wasted his possession, all his possession. Church, on prodigal living. That's verse 13. It said he went to a far country. Church, a far country is literally where he was trying to go to separate himself from God and from his father. But little he knew, he's an all-seeing eye. God is everywhere and no place absent. See, church, the prodigal soon discovered his decision was good or bad. But anyway, whatever he decides, he's going to have to suffer the consequence. But when the son had spent all, there arose a certain famine in that land. And he began to want, Brother Larry. It said he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country. And they sent him into the field to feed the swan, which is pig. And he was glad that should fill his stomach with the potter or slop that the pig ate, because no one gave him anything. So, see, every prodigal will reach that point when all the fun, all the partying come to an end. All the wrong decisions lead to emotional bankrupt. See, God, in his wisdom, he designed consequence of sin to make us desperate. See, the prodigal often tried to fill the void with whatever he could, church. Sometimes it's drug. Sometimes it's with another relationship. Sometimes you want to move to a far country. With time, they start living sometimes, church, in a pig pen. Church, they live wild. They live all kind of way because they're in a far country. Now, back at home, church, the prodigal father continued, church, to grieve. He was hurting. He was sad because his son walked away. Church, but it's possible that the word may have gotten back to his father, that his son was feeding pig broke, no food, no money. See, church, for Jewish men having no associated with pig, it was the worst shame a parent could experience. So that's why he was out feeding the swan. Because Jewish, they didn't associate with pig. So they put the prodigal in the pen and let him feed the pig. Church, over in the Jews look at that as the worse than any addiction. They look at that worse than a criminal behavior. They even look at that worse than sex morality. But they put him in the pen. Now the father, church, considered all the options. What if? What if I sent him some money? What if I sent one of my servants to take my son some food? Yes, that would have get the son out of the pig pen and stop the shame on the family. But he still wouldn't have came home, church. Sometimes, church, we have to let them hit rock bottom. Sometimes, church, we have to let them come to their own senses. Church, see, no one knows how long this son was gone. It could be a year's past. The father evaluated the past events. You know, sometimes, church, we question ourselves. What if? What if I did the right thing by giving him his inheritance? What if I take time to study and teach him more about life? Church, we go through that as parents. Would things be better now as time passed? Well, finally, church, the prodigal reached a point where his desperate turned into brokenness. Church, when he came to himself, he said, how many of my father's hired servants have bread enough to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will rise and go to my father and will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you, and I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. What a wonderful father. What a wonderful father, church. He said, we as Christians should be wonderful parents, wonderful father, and wonderful mothers. Church, sometimes, church, we have to learn to forgive and let go. Church, I read a parable over in Matthew about an unmerciful servant. And Peter came to Jesus. He said, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother? And when he sinned against me, up to 7 times. Church, God commanded that we have to forgive in order to make heaven our home. Church, for if you forgive me when they sin against you, but if you do not forgive men that sin, your Father in heaven will not forgive you of your sin. So, church, Colossians 3:13 says, just as the Lord hath forgiven you, so you ought to also forgive. Church, this story went on. The son said, make me like one of your highest servants. Church, see, the wise father knew brokenness would make the son think about home, Brother Larry, and see the father made no barrier to prevent his son from coming back home. When the son, church, asked the father to give me my portion of good, church, the father could have said, I'm going to give you your portion, but don't come back here. Church, the father didn't do that. Church, the lesson to be learned from the father, a wonderful father. He granted the son his request. Church, the greatest struggle for any parent of a prodigal is waiting for the brokenness to come. Church, though we may try to speed up the process, but church, God is in control. You have to let God have his way, church. Church, see, sometimes when we nag at the prodigal, telling them they need to read their Bible more. Church, when we beg them to come or go to church, church, sometimes that would cause them to stray away. In fact, church, that would drive them away. What I'm saying, church, we don't need to nag. We need to just pray and let God have his way. Church, see, the brokenness bring the prodigal to the end of his rope. Now, prodigals tend to stay in a far country as long as they have some rope left. But church, when you give money or when you send them food, you preventing that prodigal. He getting food, church. He got rope, so he gonna stay longer, church. What I'm saying, that brokenness, desire our heart to be restored. But wait, I say wait on the Lord. Let God have his way, church. This prodigal first thought of restoring or returning to his family. The first person came to his mind, church, was his father. He said, see, the hard moment of a prodigal is when they admit that they were wrong, when they repent of this sin. See, prodigal think, church, that the only opportunity to find grace, church, is in the eyes of the family. And sometimes, church, they don't think family going to work with them. Sometimes they say they come to you one time to see how you respond. And if you turn your back on them, church, that prodigal, he tend to go back out into the world, church. Church, this prodigal son, only thing he asked his father was for money and shelter. See, church, true repentance never demand. It only requests. Can I say that again? True repentance never demand. It only requests. And he rose and came to his father. But when he was still a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. What a wonderful father, church. As the prodigal looked into the eyes of his father, he began to speak. And the son said to the father, church, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against in your sight. And I am no longer, church, to be worthy to be called your son. But, church, the father said to the servant, he said, bring out the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and sandals on his feet, and bring the fatted calf here and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For my son was dead and now is alive again, church. He was lost and now found. Church, it's time to be merry. So see, church, once the reunion occurred, it was the father reaction now that took over. The father restored the dignity of repentant son. The over-rejoiced of the father ordered the servant. He said, bring me a robe, a ring, and some shoes. Just see, the best robe in the house was for an honored guest. The ring signified his position as son. And the sandals meant that he was no longer a slave. Amen. Church, let us begin to celebrate. The father could have demand answer from the son. He could have told the son how much shame you brought to the family. But instead, the father used wisdom when the son left. And church, now the father exercising wisdom when the son returned. See, sometimes you don't need to remind a person on what they did. When you forgive, you have to forgive like our Father. Once he forgive you, church, he don't bring it up no more. So, church, once you forgive that prodigal, you don't have to remind him of what he did. When the Father has forgiven you, church, remember, it's gone. See, church, the oldest son, he failed to understand the attention the father was giving to his brother. Church, it didn't seem fair to the oldest brother because the older brother knew that he was there with his father all along. But church, the celebration began the healing. The healing. So church, what I'm saying, this parable shows how sinful behavior can affect more than just the parents. It can affect family members, grandparents, and friends. In some cases, it is the grandparents and the friends who have the burden of the prodigal, not the parent. Church, I ask the Lord to lead and guide us with our prodigal. See, as I bring this lesson to a close, I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save your soul. See, church, money will take you further than you want to go. It will cost you more than you're willing to spend. And it will keep you longer than you want to stay. So remember, church, everything that glitters isn't gold. It may look good on the other side, but once you get on the other side, you realize the grass is greener back on this side. So what I'm saying, church, don't let the green grass fool you, because God is still in control. I'm just saying, give it over to God and let God have his word. That's the lesson. What a wonderful Father. What a wonderful Father. So if you're here today and you want to give your life to Christ, or you want to give your life to this wonderful Father, first you must hear the word. And once you hear the word, then you must believe. And after you have believed, then you must confess, repent. And after you repent, then you confess. And then, church, we will take you down and baptize you. Church, if you have strayed away and went to a far country, and you're tired of being in that hog pen, and you want to come back home, church, we welcome you with open arms. Church, we will run and kiss you. Church, we will break out the fatted calf. We will bring out our robe, church. We even have some ring and some sandals. We welcome you back home, church. But if you didn't need prayer, we also pray for you. As together we stand and sing the invitation song.
Yield not to temptation, for yielding in sin. Each victory will help you some other to win. Fight manfully onward, dark passion subdue. Look ever to Jesus, and he will carry you. All you have to do is just ask.